Three, two, one. Play it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular, yeah, celebrities. Started with a combo, now the world leaning in. Four vets in the room, let the stories begin. No filters, no scripts, just wisdom and sin. We talk hustle hard and the places we've been. From the field to the mic, that growth is the lesson. Turn pressure into presence, that's the real confession. Got the crowd tuned in for the raw and the rare. You can feel the truth breathe through the air. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrities. Talk music, talk ball, talk rank and salute. Every topic on the table, every word in pursuit. We the voice for the ones that the world overlook. Turn pain into punchlines, life into the hook. Yes, in the chair, we breaking the mold. Every episode's heat, every message is gold. No gimmicks, no mask, just purpose and peace. When the lights come on, that real don't cease. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrity. We ain't chasing fame, we redefining the game. Give light to the name that the system can't tame. Got the people tuned in, cause they feel our lane. It's the voice of the real, not a chase for acclaim. Mic check, then the vibe start to settle for a host. One stage and the truth is the metal. So before that show start, let the beat breathe steady. When you hear the name, just know we ready. Yeah.
What the world?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular, yeah, celebrities. Started with a combo, now the world leaning in. Four vets in the room, let the stories begin. No filters, no scripts, just wisdom and sin. We talk hustle hard and the places we've been. From the field to the mic, that growth is the lesson. Turn pressure into presence, that's the real confession. Got the crowd tuned in for the raw and the rare. You can feel the truth breathe through the air. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrities. Talk music, talk ball, talk rank and salute. Every topic on the table, every word in pursuit. We the voice for the ones that the world overlook. Turn pain into punchlines, life into the hook. Yes, in the chair, we breaking the mold. Every episode's heat, every message is gold. No gimmicks, no mask, just purpose and peace. When the lights come on, that real don't cease. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrity. We ain't chasing fame, we redefining the game. Give light to the name that the system can't tame. Got the people tuned in, cause they feel our lane. It's the voice of the real, not a chase for acclaim. Mic check, then the vibe start to settle for a host. One stage and the truth is the metal. So before that show start, let the beat breathe steady. When you hear the name, just know we ready. Oh yeah, when you hear the name, just know we ready. Unpopular celebrities. Yeah, we speak that truth so effortlessly. Living like no script, just energy. From the block to the base to the legacy. Unpopular celebrities.
What's good?
Chilling, man.
Oh,
Chilling.
good. I can hear you. Everything's
Happy
good.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Daniel says, I like the video. Shout out, like the SpongeBob. Like the SpongeBob joint. Everything looks good on my end. I don't really need to set anything up. I think everything's good. Looking good. Getting levels. Thursday night. Well, evening, afternoon. What would that be considered? Afternoon?
Nah, it's evening.
Evening. What time? What supper
Yeah.
time? Thursday supper time.
Supper. That
Ain't
we
that
on
what they
some.
call?
What did they call it? What was that show back in the day? House on the Prairie type stuff. Supper.
Yeah,
What you
supper
talking
time.
about?
Supper time.
Supper.
Is my wallet? Is your wallet what? Is that a joke? I don't get it. Is my wallet? Is my wallet.com? Is my wallet dot what? Tony Renee. Look at y'all like y'all. Look at y'all looking like y'all. Okay. Okay. All right, off to you, man. I'm still trying to make sure everything's good.
Yeah. Peace, human beings. Peace, human beings. Your boy, Philly DC, in the house today. Happy to be with you guys. You have my co host, also the engineer today, Pete. You got Jessica Player and Dell Brown out in the place handling their business in the world. We are your Unpopular Celebrities podcast. Thank you for being here today on this Thursday. We got a great show lined up for you today. Before we get started, as always, paying the bills. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all of our social media. We got something for all y'all each day and every day. And we're going to have some special stuff coming up in December. Always remember, if you want the real, you want a place where you can be yourself, and here's some great stuff for you to laugh about and think about, join your Unpopular Celebrities team here. You're here in this place. So we got a great show lined up for you.
Yo, love the emojis, man. Y'all go and keep the emojis going, man. Those
That's
things
funny.
are funny.
I don't know what that is, but
Those things
funny.
are funny. Just little emojis that bounce over the screen. If you're on the YouTube, man, you can set that up. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Interesting.
All right, let me see. All right, we're here to talk about. What are we here to talk about?
Yo, we're here to talk about the Netflix special on P. Diddy, The Reckoning.
Dun, 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 dun. I feel
The
like we
Reckoning.
need.
Dun, 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 dun. The
I feel
Reckoning.
like you need that music. So I saw the show in totality about 3-4 days ago. It took me 2 days to watch it, but first initial reaction was it was really done well. And then I saw some interviews afterwards. We here to talk about y'all and how you snitched on
Yella.
him.
I think you're talking about Yella.
Who's Yella?
I don't know. We're here to talk about Yella and how you snitched on him. I don't know who Yella is.
What's up, bud? Answer your phone. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I think I know who that is. Man, you didn't text me. I ain't who I thought that was. Hit it out. I ain't watched it. Oh, well, you can come back and watch this later and let us know what you think. I subscribe. Man, appreciate it, man. If you just subscribe right
up,
now,
bro.
we should get it. We should
yeah!
Yeah, we should have got the little alert, man. Where's my alert box at? What the
Thanks for subbing up, brother or sister.
Yeah. Man, that makes me mad. All right. So I watched it a couple days ago, man. How long ago you watched it? Yeah, there it goes.
I watched it. I finished it, concluded it last night.
Okay.
So I watched all the episodes, so I'm completely done. So yeah, it took me about 2 days.
Mike Tyson, the quitter. You freaking hater. Yo, don't diss Tyson up in here, man.
Okay.
Don't diss Tyson. I don't know, why would you say that? Why would you say that? I need to turn on my lights back there, but thank you for that. It's your birthday? Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, bro.
Said your SpongeBob is your
Enjoy
wallet.
yourself.
All right, we ain't gonna get to this if we keep reading all the comments. So
yeah.
First initial reaction about this. how do we start this? Do you want to do episode by episode? You want to do just a whole, like, talk about the first episode and what you thought? You want to do like a whole synopsis, one thing at a time?
I think it would be appropriate to do a quick overview of how we got here to this show.
Oh, well, shoot, it was kind of your idea, so I'll turn that over to you.
Okay. For folks that have been living under the rock for quite some time, don't know about you, but you know, I'm showing my age, but I grew up. You know, I ain't gonna talk about how old I am, but I am old. You can tell by the beard. But I grew up in the bad boy era, right? I'm a big hip hop fan, huge hip hop fan. So I grew up obviously in the, you know, listening to like L Cool J, Eric B, Rakim or whatever. But then when hip hop changed and then you had like Bad Boy come on the horizon, you had of course Craig Mack, you had the Notorious B.I.G., then you had Mary J. Blige, you had those artists. Bad Boy was huge back in the 90s. I mean, everybody was dancing to Biggie, Give Me One More Chance, whatever, dang near Warning, all that stuff. And then you had the transition to Mace and them boys. So, anyway, Bad Boy was huge. And so P. Diddy, initially known as Puff Daddy, was the architect of it all. And Puff Daddy, I like your hair. Okay.
Hat,
All right.
hat.
Oh, like your hat. Oh, good looking out, man. Appreciate it. Hey, so anyway, I won't belabor it. Puff Daddy was larger than life. I mean, he was known throughout the music industry and in the world, I might say, about his musical genius and making hits. He had that thing called Bad Boy, I thought I told you we won't stop, and all that other stuff. So Puff Daddy, for years, were involved in various incidents that has caused his name to be almost tarnished in some ways, but he's found some way to get out of it. But last year, September 24, the FBI raided his home. I can't remember the city it was in, but they raided his home
I think it
and
was
what and
Miami.
they charged him with a bunch of things. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's either Miami or LA. I can't remember either.
Okay. So racketeering, sex trafficking, extortion, a number of charges. And then they put him in jail. And so it was for about 7 or 8 months. They went through the trial in federal court. And then it concluded about, I think it was about maybe 3, 4 months ago or something. They came out with the verdict. They didn't find him guilty on all charges, but he was guilty of um, I believe it was sex trafficking or something like that, like transportation or something. What do you say, Grandpa's what?
I
I
don't know.
love your street. Grandpa's meeting is going on. Okay. All right. You got some weird comments. All right. Anyway, so 50 Cent, if you know him, 50 Cent decided to make a documentary on what happened during the P. Diddy saga. And so it was aired on Netflix, executive produced by 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson. And that's what we watched over the last 2 days. And looking at all the reaction over social media, was well received. A lot of information, especially from my standpoint, that was very enlightening that I had no idea about. Sorry, I used the microphone.
He's trying to type. He's trying to type, but he's using the microphone. That's why his
I
comments are
got
off.
you. That's all right, bro. It's all right, my brother. But it was a lot of it was a lot of it was well received. So anyway, that's what we're here now. So it's Sean P. Diddy Combs, The Reckoning, and it was produced by Curtis Jackson. So let's start with the beginning in episode 1. So I'll do a quick synopsis and then you can jump on. It's
Yeah.
number 1 on Netflix. Appreciate that, bro. You're right. It's well reserved. It should be number 1. So it did a quick highlight of P. Diddy or Sean Combs as he was coming up. You know, they talked about his mom, they talked about his father, who wasn't around really, but was known as a well-known figure, potentially like they referred to his father as a gangster for some reason. They showed pictures of him, but he wasn't really around much. But his mom, I can't remember her name,
I think it was
Janelle
Janet,
Combs,
something like that. Yeah, Janelle,
something like
Janice,
that. But
something.
she was very involved in his life. You're going to see it really impacted him over the years, obviously being his mom and such. But growing up in Harlem, and being involved in it kind of my dad is in the hospital. Um Portraying his ability to really be ambitious as he was growing up. He was getting involved. He was going to Howard University for a while. His mom was working like a bunch of jobs to support him and
Oh
stuff.
wow,
His father worked for Frank Lucas. Man, that's a good man. Appreciate that. I missed
wow,
that part.
yeah, I miss
So
that too.
anyway, Sean Combs kind of developed that same type of personality as his father, a go-getter or whatever. And he went through his upbringing, and then he ended up at Howard University. Then in Howard University, that's when hip hop started to take off. He was getting interested. He was starting to dance and stuff like that. Pause. Funny part. She and Sean Combs with a Gumby, man. That was funny. Sean Combs is a funny looking dude anyway, but that's another story. You know what I'm saying? No, no, not digging on, but he's a funny looking dude, especially back then. But anyway, so he had the Gumby or whatever. So he's dancing. So he drops out of Howard University and he decides to get into the music business hardcore. So he appeared in a couple of videos. There was this one video, I can't remember the girl group name, it was Old School, but he played the pimp and
Yeah.
an old school Volkswagen with a drop top. And he was sitting there with his tongue out like something like that. It was mad funny, man. He drove off with his joint, his finger in the air, whatever. But anyway, I thought that was funny, man. And so, anyway, I'll pause there and let you jump in.
No, I think that's a good synopsis at the start. First of all, he was it A&R Records where he worked, or was it Universal where he got his first like induction into music?
You
Was
mean
it
no A&R? You mean Arista?
where did he's still
I
looking
can't remember the
funny
name of the
looking?
first record, but I think are you talking about when he was with Andre Harrell?
Yes, was that
I
Universal?
can't remember. I can't remember what it was. I'll look it up
Oh,
real quick.
Uptown. Man, Nikki,
Uptown,
hey,
yeah, yeah.
Nikki coming with it. I appreciate you. Yeah. So he started with Uptown, and he was under the wing of a very known producer at that time, and he was kind of the gatekeeper for everybody getting into music industry at that time. And
Mm.
I guess P. Diddy was very adamant about getting this job and doing what he did, and they were just like, well, you need to sit behind the bench and all this. And then the guy who he actually moved in with, what was his name? You just said his name a minute ago.
Andre Harrell.
Yeah, Andre Harrell. He moved
Hmm.
in with him, and they started, I guess, learning the industry through him. The best way I could say it.
Yeah, Andre Harrell was very well known at the time. He was producing Al B. Shore, Heavy D and the Boys, and I mean he was making hit after hit. And remember, funny story. I wish my wife was here, man. She was a big Al B. Shore fan, and all the girls back in the day, they like them light skinned dudes like yourself back in the day. Your time
Okay.
is over. I mean, thanks to Wesley Snipes and such. But that's another story. But anyway, he was all over the walls of most young girls. So my let's see, it's the fourth day of Christmas. It was a lot going on back then. Yes, it was. But anyway, so when Sean Combs went and he went to Andre Harrell, and I loved the part. It kind of reminded me of you, to be honest. He was like, yo, like he pretty much was saying, hey, I want to learn the music business. I'll do whatever I got to do to do it. I'm a go getter or whatever. And he was very ambitious. And Andre Harrell was like, amazed by him. Like, this guy's interesting. So he started working with Andre Harrell. And then Andre Harrell gave him like the ability, gave him some stuff like an A&R job. So, like an A&R job, I remember when I was listening really into hip hop in the beginning, they kept talking about A&Rs and stuff. So A&R guys like artist development, they're the ones that most of the artists try to get to try to get a deal. And that's who Sean Combs and P. Diddy was. So he was responsible for developing all the artists and stuff, listening to tapes and all that. And so over time, Andre Harrell trusted him even more. And then he's like, yo, I want you from this point to just do development for all our artists. So then Sean Combs ended up getting like groups like Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, and I can't remember this other group now. I never even heard of them, but it was huge. That was the first eye-opening thing for me. Was like, wow, like This dude, I knew he had something to do with Mary J, but not Jodeci. But they were talking about how Jodeci was like dressed back then with the high tech boots and the baggy jeans and stuff. That was all Sean Combs. I was very impressed.
Yeah, super impressed by that. I didn't know he had anything to do with Jodeci. I never knew. And for
I
those of y'all
didn't.
that don't know who Jodeci is, Jodeci is a very well-known R&B group from, man, when did that start? The 90s, 80s,
Yeah, it was the 90s.
90s. So back in the 90s, he started this group. Well, the group got introduced, and it was Jodeci, and some people know Casey and JoJo, who are a little bit more famous now. But they're in the group, and then there's a couple more other people in the group. But they got hits after hits after hits. And if you ever look up Jodeci, man, you ever want to do some baby making music, put on some Jodeci, man. You turn your girl out. And this is why rap is dying. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, so I didn't know he was all in that. And then it was funny because I forgot all about the Mary J. Blige stuff. I forgot he had
Mm,
anything to do with Mary J. Blige. And I remember now that she was on a couple of his records later on, and now it makes sense why she was on there.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah. Uh,
So I did skip a part. I wanted to quickly go back before getting with Andre Harrell. Remember, P Diddy started doing doing promotion, like party promotions.
Mhm.
So he was promoting all these parties around where he was at and stuff. You know, he was hanging out with like Heavy D and all this other stuff. So he did this big party at a basketball court, like a celebrity basketball court
Yeah.
court game, and like all like a lot of like A-listers was there, like Dougie Fresh, Heavy D, and whatever. And so he over promoted the party, and it was so many people that went there that the gym could not handle all of the people. And then something happened. I can't remember if it was gunshots or whatever, but people were trying to leave and they didn't have enough exits and people were getting trampled.
I
And
think
when people were
people
getting,
were trying to
huh?
come in and they didn't have enough uh security, and so it was like a
Mm,
$15 event. But like they
yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, some people were like, hey, just bum rush the door. So they started bum rush the door, and they said the doors open this way, not that way, and everybody started pushing into the door, and they started getting trampled on.
Mm. Okay. So yeah, I missed that. I must have missed that part. So wasn't gunshots then. Thanks for the clarification. Apparently everybody was trying to get into the event and it wasn't enough room. So people started getting trampled. So I remember something about a lot of people got injured, but I think it was like 4 to 5 people got killed. And then I thought it was interesting they were showing video footage of Sean Combs walking around. He was bewildered, like he couldn't believe what was going on because they had all these people that was dying or dead in the event. And so obviously he ended up getting like having to go answer for it. But what I thought was interesting is when he was in front of the microphone, he said, "We need to find this way. We need to find a way where this will not ever, 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 ever happen again." And I don't know about you, man, but I thought to myself was like, this is the first start. And as the series went on, I don't want to get too far ahead. This really illustrated his mindset because like I think he's ultimately responsible for what happened. But he kind of flipped it as if it wasn't him, it was the venue or wasn't
Right.
enough security. But last I checked, if you hold an event and you promote it, you reap the benefits of how much it makes, how much fame it generates. You should also be responsible for the safety too.
Correct.
But he kind of flipped it as if it was like somebody else's fault.
Do you think if you're putting on a event and something happens, it's your fault, especially something like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Especially like it's just like I look at it as at your house. If you hold something at your house and it snows and there's ice on the ground and they leave and they slip, you're responsible. If they're in
Interesting.
your house and there's a power outage and I don't know, the chandelier falls on somebody, you're responsible. So when you hold an event at a place and you're having people come there,
Mhm.
now is it automatically your fault? No, but you're gonna have to answer to it and prove you did everything you could to ensure there were safety protocols in place. But he even said himself there wasn't enough security and there wasn't a process put in place. I mean, think it was at the time, it was what, the early 90s, late 80s, where you had enough people to usher people into the event in an orderly fashion. He didn't even have that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're ultimately responsible.
What up, Freddie Kincaid in the building? But yeah, I agree. I think that was tough back then, especially if it was his first event and something like that to happen. Why it's very sad that it happened. I ultimately agree with you that you're responsible with how the success and the failure of the event. And unfortunately, that failure cost people some lives. So that's
Yep.
very
Yep.
unfortunate.
But and like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead of the show, but to me, especially, they showed different. They showed that wasn't the last time they showed clips of that event, and I think there was a reason for that. But anyway, moving on. So back to Andre Harrell. Sean Combs is so good at the job. He trusts him with full artist development of Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. He produced them and all that, and he becomes a hit, right? And I think Andre Harrell even mentioned he's like on the rise. It's like he can't believe how good this dude is. And then over time, it started to show or portray Sean Combs' thought process when it comes to things. Like if he wants something, he wants it. So there was a woman, Kim Porter, who was his original wife. She was like working at the front desk. Apparently, she was going out with Al B. Shore at the time. And so I guess he was telling somebody like he wanted to get her, and it was like, yo, that's Al B. Shore girl, whatever. And he said, I'm gonna get her. So I guess he was wooing her and stuff like that. And he eventually got Kim Porter away from Al B. Shore. But pause. What I'm a little disappointed in, and my wife included, I thought they were going to talk about how he was able to wrest away Al B. Shore's son, sign all his rights over to Sean Combs. I thought they were going to talk about that, but they didn't.
Yeah, that didn't come up at all. First of all, Daniel, your comment, wish you could send us money, but my mom said no. Listen to mom. Have mom come on the show, and then see if you can send money then. But yeah, no big
Hey,
deal.
you can do us one better. Help by promoting the show. Thank
There
you,
you
bro.
go. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't know anything about his son and Diddy and their relationship. I didn't know that Kim Porter was dating Al B. Sure and all that thing happened. That was new to me.
Right.
But interesting point about how it sets up with Diddy and how everything is his mindset. And I guess he was always like, if I want some, I'm gonna get it. Where I admire that type of mentality, but this shows when it's used for bad that stuff can happen, and we'll talk about it as we move on.
Yeah.
As he moved on, so it seems like he got fired from working with what's that guy's name again?
Andre Harrell.
Andre Harrell, Uptown Records. So he fired him. I can't remember what it was for exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember too. I want to say
because he was sad he had to let him go, but he said, "Yeah, I had to let him go."
Oh, they wasn't getting along. I think Sean Combs' head was getting too big. They wasn't getting along. They was like kind of arguing all the time. I think that's the reason why he let him go.
And that could be true. And that could be true. I'm trying to look it up as we say. Diddy was fired from Uptown Records for being overly passionate, lacking an understanding of workplace policies, and clashing with his boss, Andre Harrell.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Right on point. It's kind of crazy. He immediately started his own record label. It's like he never missed a beat. And, I think in the firing, he gave them, was it?
He gave him Biggie.
Biggie.
He gave him Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G.
So if you didn't know, Biggie was supposed to sign with Uptown Records, which now opens up a bigger envelope. What would have happened to Biggie's life if he would have went with Uptown? Because he was just hardcore rapper that was not really starting to be a thing, but wasn't really a thing. Most rap back then was what would you describe rap back in those days?
Rap at that time was like New Jack Swing type rap.
New Jack Swing. Yeah. So more or less,
Mhm. You had like Father MC was big back in the day, Heavy D. Um, they just started getting into hardcore rap because at that time when Notorious B.I.G. was just coming on the scene, the hotness was coming out of the West Coast. They had Dr. Dre, they had Snoop and Ice Cube and NWA. That was the hardcore rap. And it's kind of on topic but off topic, but that was a huge pivot in hip hop when at that time when the West Coast came on board, they were saying stuff that the East Coast weren't. Now, don't get me wrong, the East Coast weren't soft. They were talking about a lot of street life and stuff, but not like the West Coast. The West Coast was like in your face, talking about the police and all this other stuff. And then when Dre and Snoop got together and they came out with the Chronic album and stuff, the East Coast was like put on the back burner,
hmm
which was rare at that time. And so I remember now in the show, Sean Combs, before he got fired, when he went to Andre Harrell, he said, "Look, you trying to make like hip hop music for young people. I'm a young person. I know hip
oh yeah,
hop.
yep,
Let me do it, whatever, blah, blah, blah." And so when he got fired, and he says, I'm sorry, man. Hold on. Go out there and sit down. My bad, my other co-host, my dog. But when he got fired, he said, "Look, I will let you have Notorious B.I.G."
yeah,
And that's huge because to your point, he could have signed with Uptown. I'm
yeah.
gonna pause here because I'm gonna have to put my dog up, man. He tripping.
He says that your dog.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm
It's an
trying to
unpopular celebrity mascot that makes his
golden
appearance.
doodle life, man. I'm
But
sorry, man. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah, I agree. It's amazing to see that he got selected or he was able to get Biggie and what happened with Biggie's life, as we'll talk about in a second. But I think from there, Bad Boy took off. Well, I'm sorry, it didn't really take off. Bad Boy started.
Mm-hmm.
I should say it
Mm-hmm.
started. And he
Yep.
was producing Notorious B.I.G. And that was like his main dude. That was like the dude he was gonna make big. And that was probably the end of the first episode. Towards the end of the first episode, we might have missed a couple things, but nothing really key. All the key stuff we kind of talked about. But moving on is when he really started Bad Boy and he became, I don't even know how he changed his name to Puff Daddy. I don't think they talked about
Um,
that.
yeah, he I don't remember the daddy part, but they said they called him Puff because of something. He always had that nickname Puff. I can't remember. It was like when he was young. You know what I mean? It wasn't like when he became Bad Boy, he was Puff Daddy. I don't know when they added the daddy part, nor the Diddy part, nor the brother love part. Oh, we won't even get into that yet.
Oh,
But
okay. So
one thing I
he
will
played football
uh
at the academy. His team won the division. And Combs said that he was given the name Puff as a child because he would huff and puff when he was angry.
oh, I don't remember that one. Okay. Yeah. Um, but when Bad Boy started, the first artist that was out of the pipe was really Craig Mack. Was really
Right.
Craig Mack.
And Craig Mack
And when
wasn't really a good artist to me.
No, he was. He just didn't have. So it was a side story they didn't cover. But when Craig Mack started and Biggie came out, Craig Mack felt like he was pushed to the wayside
Oh, okay.
because his first hit, Flavian, it was hot. I mean, it was banging. But then, I was telling my wife the other day, man, his album was trash, man. He only had like 2 good songs,
I don't even
but
remember.
he kind of fell to the wayside because when Biggie came out, he was doing all these mixtapes, and then he wasn't really giving the same push as Biggie.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting too, I'm kind of getting ahead. Get down, man. I'm sorry, man. Groupies over here. But at one point, Craig Mack was trying to go to death row, man. I didn't know
Right.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Traitor.
yeah.
It's like, let me
Well, I
stop.
think he
Let
was
me
trying to
stop.
go to death row because of what you said. East Coast wasn't
Yeah.
really pushing gangster rap like that. And the
Right.
West Coast was with Death Row. It was with just with Snoop and Dre at the time. And it's really just
Right.
those two. And then you had a couple one-off people that, if unless you're real big on rap, you didn't know. But then Diddy started signing
Mhm.
112 and then SWV. And it's really weird when you think about Diddy's career. He just had hit artist after hit artist after hit artist. And the only miss he had was really Craig Mack and that other dude that we don't even know who the heck he was. Who was that other dude that was on one freaking song that he said he was writing for Diddy?
Oh, Mark Curry. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's that dude?
I don't know. Then he had Shine. He had the Locks. He had I'm trying to think of who else, but that's really the main people that he had. But it's incredible that he got. Yeah, you good. It's incredible he got artist after artist after artist to come on. Faith Donovan, my homie. How are you? It's good to have you. Good to see you. Cliff, yeah, Black Rob had one hit. Yeah, for sure had a hit. What was that hit? Oh, whoa. Like, whoa. Yeah, y'all look that up, man. That joint was bumping back in the day. Dang, somebody showing the age. But yeah, Black Rob for real. But Gene Harrison in the building. What's up, big dog? But as Diddy started and as we go, it became crazy that he started beefing with Suge Knight. And I think it was because Suge or P. Diddy was trying to take Suge's girl. Forget my dog. He just wants attention. Yeah, that's my dog breathing in the mic. I'm gonna make sure I kick him out, but he just wanted some attention. But yeah, so I don't know what y'all starting to look like. Oh, look alike. Hell no. I'm finna cut my beard off today. We is not looking alike. You're gonna have to go lay down, big dog. You have to go lay down. Go. So yeah, so I think that was very interesting how that happened with Diddy started beefing with Suge Knight because of a girl. And that's where it all started at. And Diddy was pretty big back then, but if you remember the Source Awards, there was a big beef with the East Coast and West Coast rap, and that's where that all started. And the only one good on the East Coast was Biggie back then. Now they started getting a lot better rappers now, but back then, and the West Coast was really dominating, quote unquote, gangster rap. And they were moving into that area of taking over for gangster rap back then, back in the day, back in the early 90s. And then Pac was cool with Biggie. And it seemed like Puff was jealous over their relationship. Like Biggie was, or excuse me, yeah, Biggie was Puff's only artist that he really had. And Cliff brought up another one. We brought up a couple more, but really at the gangster rap phase, that's all it really was. After the documentary, I'm starting to believe if Diddy had something to do with Pac being shot in the studio, I think Biggie didn't know. Yeah, we'll get into that, Cliff, for sure. But so he started getting jealous over the relationship. And as Cliff just pointed out, I think this brings us right into the next point. There was a spot that Tupac said the same way as they said it, and we'll never hear from Biggie's standpoint, but basically called Pac and was like, come to the studio. And was it Lil C's? There was another artist named Lil C's got a call, was like, hey, Tupac's down here. He's at the studio. And he's like, he told Biggie, and Biggie was like, yo, bring him up. That's the big homie. So as Lil C's tells it, as he went downstairs in the elevator, some dudes were there and they were like, get back in the elevator, had a gun pointed at him. As the story goes along, Pac got shot, I think 1, 2, 3 times, something like that, at the studio. And that's what really started that East Coast, West Coast beef, especially with Bad Boy and Death Row. And I'll say here first, I think that was the start of Bad Boy really being relevant, was during that time when Tupac got shot. And that beef really kicked off. I think that was catapulted Tupac, or excuse me, catapulted Bad Boy to really being relevant. Because at the time, and I'm a West Coast dude, I was from Cali. That is all we listened to was West Coast Death Row, and they were all over the place. But I think that's what catapulted Bad Boy in being relevant was the shooting of Tupac in the studio. And that's kind of where Tupac was just like, I'm gonna join Death Row. And then he made that song, was it Hit 'em Up? I think it was Hit 'em Up, where he talked about Biggie, talked about he had sex with his wife and blah blah blah. And Biggie made that song, man, was it Warning? No, what was that song called? Cut your beard, big bro. Just promise that you'll never wear them stunner glasses live. I done it before. If I had them with me, I'd put them back on, but I won't wear them. They saying that we're starting to look alike.
It's called Who Shot You? That was the song.
Who Shot You? And they didn't want that performed during that time. And ironically enough, thanks, Cliff. Ironically enough, I'm from Cali and Philly is from Philly. Or born. I thought it was born. Ben. I could read. But anyway, what's your thoughts? I know you just got back, but we're talking about when Pac got shot. Cliff says he think Diddy had something to do with that. The first shooting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This, at first years ago, when I heard that, like, yeah, that's convenient, And then over time, I heard more people, like the dude that actually shot him, kind of alluded to it. I was like, nah, man. But after seeing this series, I think he had something to do with it. And absolutely, we can get into that in a second. But back to your other comment.
Thanks for the stars, Faith.
Yeah, thank you, girl. Hey, what's up, Faith? We miss you, girl. What's up, Faith? Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. I know. Anyway. No, Big Bad Boy was huge even before Tupac was shot.
Okay, so
because at the height of at the beginning of the East Coast West Coast war, remember Notorious B.I.G. had his album release party. He even sent him Tupac a sample of it, like and then Tupac was listening to it. He said, oh, I like this dude, whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna come support you at this party. So they showed pictures of him and Tupac together. And what I thought was one of the best parts about the series is when they showed them both freestyling. And I could see the admiration in Tupac and in Biggie for each other. And I thought that was pretty cool, man. It made me feel real bad. And I know, don't spare me for this, y'all, but it kind of reminded me of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X in a way. Because they both believed in the same thing, but different way. They had different vision. I know somebody's going to kill me for this, but just hear me out. They're both good or big in their own way, but they had a deep admiration for each other. And ironically, both of them got killed, and then Biggie and Tupac got killed. I'm not saying Biggie and Tupac are Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. It just kind of reminded me because two good brothers, two talented brothers. Tupac already was established. And he saw Biggie coming on the scene, and at least by the way it portrayed, Tupac wasn't jealous of it. Before I go any further, something just popped in my head that blew my mind too. There was a couple of things, but this blew my mind. So you remember when they were saying how Bad Boy was just coming on scene, and they were trying to figure out because at the time B.I.G. came out with Juicy, and Juicy, thank you, man, I appreciate it, Kenny. But they came out with Juicy, right? It was all a dream. We used to read up What Up magazine, Salt Peppers in the magazine, right? It was a hot hit, but it wasn't that huge. At the time, Tupac had Get Around, right? And they showed Tupac Get Around. It was having fun at the party. So it was like, yo, we want the same thing. It really showed how the West Coast was and how they was having fun. Well, we want the same thing. So they turned around and they did a remix of One More Chance, and it looked almost just like we get her, I Get Around. It blew my mind.
I didn't know that.
I was like, yo, because that was really beyond, that was the hit. That one was ringing throughout the radio. That one, I remember my wife and I, we were in New Mexico when that came out.
Dang.
And man, that was back then. We had tape decks. I had a cassette tape deck and my Volkswagen Jetta. We ran that in the hole, man. True player for real. That's Puff Daddy. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that was a joy. I wasn't even from New York, but it was hot. But that blew my mind. That blew my mind.
Nah, that you know what? I didn't know that part until they said that, and then they said that um, Puff watched that video and was like, "Oh man, that's what I want." And I think you remember it was funny because they showed a perfect clip where Tupac had a bunch of girls around him, and then go to the One More Chance video. You had Puff sitting in
Mm-hmm.
the jacuzzi
Hot tub.
with a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
girls around him, like
Yep.
almost identical. It was funny if it was nowadays, he would have probably got sued for copyright infringement. But I mean, back then, who knows? You both are great.
Um,
Hey, thanks, appreciate
Thank
that,
you, man. I
user.
appreciate it. I don't know about that because people were biting off people for years, man.
Um,
I don't think they, at least from my perspective, my opinion, I don't think they would have had a case if they would have sued them for copyright infringement. I mean, all they did was took the same theme from a video and they flipped it into the East Coast way. Now, think about it, right? Those were two popular videos, two popular songs. I had no idea. I never thought to this day until now that that was a playoff of that video.
never.
And in fact, the Roots did the same thing to Biggie Smalls on their video. What they do, they did a parody of it the same way with the wine joints or what they did this. So people were doing it for a long time. I thought it was cool how they did it a recreation to the very finest detail.
Right.
Because you remember in Tupac's video, they had Shock G in it from Digital Underground and some other folks. And then Biggie Smalls video, you had Busta Rhymes was in it. I think LL was in it, and it was just cameos. So anyway,
Mhm.
I thought their video was better. It was a different time anyway. So
What about
what
Tupac?
about Tupac Shakur?
Tupac's
What you
dope.
mean?
Tupac's dope.
Yo, I will say this. What I don't understand is how they got away with shooting the guy.
We'll
Oh,
talk
we
about
didn't
that's
get to
later on.
that
That's
part
later
yet.
on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that part. What I was gonna say. Anyway, so
What's up,
Bad
Rashad?
Boy was huge then.
Rashawn.
I think the
Rashawn
start
Quest.
of the East Coast War started when Tupac got shot. And
Yeah.
I honestly think I can't say for sure Puffy ordered him to get shot.
We
But I
missed a
think because of
scrambler.
what happened in the club, because of his because one thing we didn't cover. Thank you, Rashonda. One thing we didn't cover is how they portrayed how Sean Combs was jealous of the artist, and he was jealous of Biggie and Tupac's relationship.
I
He
talked
was
about that
like,
while
"Yo,
you were
what?
gone.
Oh, you talked about
Yeah,
that? Okay,
yeah.
my bad."
No, you good. Go
But
ahead.
and so one would think that Sean Combs got jealous of that because he had a lot of influence and caused him to get shot. But I can't say that for sure. But once Tupac got shot, it's like almost Tupac whole mindset on Biggie and the East Coast flipped. Crazy, I mean, man, I couldn't believe the time Tupac is from New York.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
like, you know what I mean? So anyway, but that's what the East Coast started once Tupac got shot coming out of the elevator and
Right.
stuff.
And so they started a little beef and their little war, and then you had the Source Awards moment where, if you don't know what the Source is, that's a magazine. Start off as a magazine, and then they went to the Source Awards, kind of like the BET Awards, but it's supposed to be just for rap. And basically, Death Row and Bad Boy were basically winning all the awards. And Suge Knight came on there and basically said, he didn't basically said, he said, if you don't want your producer dancing on the video and getting on your way, come to Death Row. And Puff went back on there. He said, yo, it's not about East Coast. Like, he was trying to be the peacekeeper. Like, yo, give it up for everybody. Like, clap for everybody. And Suge Knight was like, nah, hell no. It's all about us. But it's interesting because then in the documentary, they said that Biggie or Puff was pissed at Suge for saying that. And he started messing around with gangsters, like Crips, like real life, what they do in the street gangsters, because he knew he needed some support from them to take down Suge Knight or to be able to handle Suge. And then we fast forward to the Tyson fight. the big night in 1995 where Mike Tyson came out of jail and he had his first fight, and Puff was there, Tupac was there, Suge was there, like anybody at that time was at that fight. I remember watching that fight when it happened. That tells you about how old I am because I remember that fight actually happening. Uh, and then the backlash of it, where basically what happened was Tupac was shot and he died, and there was all this controversy over who did it. And to this day, they still don't know who did it. Still don't. And there was some backstory about how this dude who was a gangster Crip did something to Pac, and Pac saw him at the fight, got into a fight with him, basically beat him down, and he was the cousin of some big known Crip guy. So that's how they think that the hit was called. But they think the hit was called by Puff, who paid, I think it was 100,000, 500,000, half a million, 500,000 to have it done. That is the story behind it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that I think that's what happened prior to Tupac getting shot. There was something about one of the members of the Crip gang was at the fight, and that same dude they saw at the fight apparently had some beef with one of Tupac's crew. They tried to steal his chain or something like that.
There you go. Yep. The
And so they
Death Row
told Tupac, like, yo, he here at the fight. And so I remember they were saying, like, yo, Suge Knight was like, yo, we came and we saw what we wanted to see. Mike Tyson knocked it out of somebody. And then it was on that night. You know, we was ready. Everybody was ready to fight after that. You know what I mean? So they saw the dude and they showed the video footage. Tupac was walking up there with his crew and they just start kicking the stuff out of this dude, right? And so after the fight, after that skirmish, they went back, got back to the dude who is the friend of Puff Daddy's friend that introduced Puff Daddy to the Crip dude who was the lead. And it was like, yo, this was happening to that dude. Cool. And so right after that, later on that night, they had Pac and Suge Knight in the car. And then that's when they got shot up in the car and stuff. So Suge Knight got shot. He got injured, minor injuries, I believe, but Tupac got the worst of it. He got shot several times and he got killed. So they said, I remember later in the show, they said after he got shot, man, like Puff Daddy and his son was just walking around like nothing happened, like it was all good, you know what I mean? Which was weird, you know?
Yeah.
And anyway, that's part of the reason why I think he did it. But anyway, Tupac gets shot, and then the war just explodes after that. And what I thought was interesting, it showed the side of how Sean Combs could be very calculating, because before Tupac got shot and he came out with that song "Hit 'Em Up," and Sean Combs was like, Biggie was like, yo, I remember that time too. Biggie was like, yo, I don't even want to deal with it. I ain't got no time for that. And Sean was like, we gotta do something, man.
Respond.
Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And so, he came out with Who Shot You or whatever. And so after Tupac got shot, they wanted to do some kind of promotion in the West Coast, because that's when Biggie's second album, his double album, came out, ready to Life After Death.
One of the
So they was
best
gonna go to the
albums.
West Coast, permitted, huh?
One of the best albums, but go ahead.
Yeah. But his friends was like, yo, don't go down there, whatever. They was trying to convince Biggie not to go down there, but Sean Combs like convinced him to go down there. And so, they went down there to promote the album. And I remember they was at some award show and they were getting booed over there, man. People were booing them and stuff like that. And so unfortunately, later that night, same thing, weird, Puff Daddy and Biggie in the vehicle. They leave, they get shot up. Biggie gets killed. Sean Combs doesn't get shot. And now Biggie Smalls is dead.
Well, were they in a vehicle together? Because I thought in the story that they convinced Biggie to stay in LA for another day. They were supposed to leave and go to London to get some kind of an award.
I remember that, but I don't remember them separating. I thought Sean Combs was with him.
Okay, somebody gonna have to
I
clarify
could
them
be wrong.
facts. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I could be wrong.
but yeah, so yeah, Biggie gets shot, and it was on like sometime in March, because they call it Biggie Day.
March 9th or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
The interesting thing in the clip, that Puff made Biggie pay for his own funeral.
Oh man, that ooh.
Like, when you call about the
Oh
demise of P.
man.
Diddy, like, he said this is gonna be the
Oh
best,
man.
biggest funeral ever New York has ever seen. And then he was like, but basically the money that Biggie made off the album, he basically took it and made him pay for the funeral.
Yeah, man. When I heard that, man, ooh.
Never knew that. Did not know that.
That I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess they're not gonna, tell us that during that time, but to hear that was amazing. I'm sure if Sean Combs was responding, he would probably deny it or come up with something. But oh man, like I feel for his mom, man. Like I wonder if she knew all this. And then she still had to maintain, allegiance to him, whatever.
Yeah, I
But
guess
anyway,
to continue getting money, that was probably the only
yeah.
way. But
But
yeah,
I think one part I wanted to talk about that we might have not covered yet was Sean Combs' best friend. I can't remember his name. But when they started Bad Boy, he went in bad. Sean Combs went in with this other gentleman who was his best friend. And so they both were the owners or created Bad Boy. So when they created Bad Boy, Sean Combs gave his friend 25% of the company and gave the other 75% to his mom.
which is
And so
crazy.
so which is when Bad Boy continued to grow,
His name was Kurt.
something about Sean Combs had to go do something. He came in his best friend office with a baseball bat. It was like, yo, I gotta do this thing, whatever. I need 25% of your company. And the dude felt like he was being threatened, man. He was like, yo, I want to keep my 25%. So he kind of forced him to sell his 25% off. And so later after that, he gets fired, just
Mm-hmm.
thrown out on the street,
Yeah.
and that's supposed to be his friend, man. Anyway,
His name was Kurt
that was kind of foul.
Burrows, Burrows. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh, he's been there since the beginning. Like you said, he had 25,
Yeah.
and his mom had the other 75. So I'm like, well, how much did Puff have? He
I know.
never had
Maybe there's a
anything.
reason why, because I mean, if something happened to him, they can't touch the company.
I mean, that's what
Maybe that's why.
LLCs are for. But yeah, it's still kind of wild that
Mhm.
happened. But yeah, that is an interesting part. And it looks like that dude Kurt, when they showed him, that dude looked like he's homeless.
He
I don't
was
know.
homeless at
Oh,
one
he
point.
was.
Yeah, they said
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
don't know if that's just how he wants to look, but I'm like, man, that dude look homeless as hell. Like, what the hell?
Yep. So anyway, after Biggie gets shot, they somewhere in the episode or several episodes, they kept portraying how Sean Combs secretly was jealous of his artists. He says something about
Good
he
point.
don't think it's fair. Like if he had their talent and his know-all, he would be huge, just being wasted. So when Biggie died, and I thought about it at the time, but it really hit home after watching the series. Ken says it was because all those people died at the celeb game.
They didn't
Yeah,
want to come
they
back and
didn't want
sue.
them to come. Ah, see, yep,
That makes sense.
yep,
Okay.
yep. So anyway, but I always thought to myself, I thought Bad Boy is over. Once Biggie got killed, I was like, Bad Boy is over.
Right.
There's no way. You know what I'm saying? Because at least Death Row had plenty. They had Dre, they had Snoop, and when they lost Pac was a huge loss, but they still had Snoop, right?
Right.
Bad Boy, who they have? Total.
Yep.
Craig Mack.
112.
When Craig Mack was trying to jump to Death Row, which I'll touch on that real quick. Craig Mack was going to jump to Death Row, but after what he saw with what happened to Biggie, he was like, he changed his mind.
Yep.
He said, "Nah, forget that."
It was interesting because his wife was saying that they were having hit albums and not getting any money for it.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? And pause, man, because I tell you, man, the music industry is hella grimy, man.
Oh
How many
yeah.
times do you hear stories of people in the music industry make these hits like TLC?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't get paid.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. And I don't want to get ahead of my overall thoughts of this show. But anyway, that was just crazy. It just
Yeah,
popped
we'll
in my
talk
head.
about that
That's
because you remember when he
disappointing.
made Danny DeCane, the girl said that she had a lawyer. They said that you have 24 hours to get this done, to get this signed or to sign this. That's all they gave him was 24 hours. And in that 24 hours, uh, this girl brought it to a lawyer, and the lawyer started laughing at it and said, "This contract basically says that you'll be famous, but you'll never be rich."
And she was like, "Yeah, it's Bad Boy."
Yep, I'll still sign it.
She
I
says
mean,
Bad
at
Boy.
that time, I think putting myself in that situation at that age, at that time, I just went through this whole contest and
Yeah.
everything. I would have signed it too. Like,
Did
I
you
don't,
be honest? Have you heard of this group?
yeah, Danny DeCane.
I never heard of them.
Oh yeah, Danny Kane had one or two albums, but the whole making the band was that's the MTV era right there. That's when I was a
I mean, I've
teenager.
heard
Like
of
that was
making
my
a
thing.
band like Babs and Dylan. I heard of them, but I never
Da,
heard
da,
of
da,
the
da, da.
other group.
Yeah. No. The other, Day 26 and Danny DeCane are like the big groups that happen, and maybe it's just my age. I don't know. Craig Mack died from AIDS. I looked it up after that. Yeah, I didn't know he died from AIDS either.
I'm
But
not sure. I'll have to look it up. I
yeah,
don't
Cliff
think it
just
was
said he looked
AIDS,
that
but
up after the documentary.
anyway.
But yeah, so
Go ahead.
yeah, we'll try to move on and try to keep this under an hour and a half because we're already at an hour. So we'll try to
Oh
keep
wow,
this.
already.
Yeah, we'll try to kind of wrap this up.
Oh, he did have AIDS. My bad. HIV AIDS. Wow.
But yeah, but
Wow.
so man, it's hard to figure out where you move to from here because I think the next big thing was Cassie. I keep saying Cassie, and the sex scandals start, and that's when people started realizing, uh, or started coming out to who he was. And if you remember back when you were talking about, uh, there was a couple girls saying some things that Diddy was doing that was kind of weird, but like somebody said earlier in the comments, he was the gatekeeper for hip hop back then. After the Biggie died and he came out with Mace and Bad Boy was jumping because they I think were making good commercial rap and some kind of non-commercial rap because that's when No Way Out came out. When I guess that's P Diddy's album. I don't
Album
know.
was trash.
I don't know whose album, but they had making all about the Benjamins on that, which is
Mm,
probably one of the biggest songs. They had Lil Kim at that time,
been
like
around
that.
the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then Mace at that time, so they were really big. And then it's funny because all these videos came out with Notorious on it, like No Way Out, all about the Benjamins, More Money, More Problems. What was that? Was that song? More Money, More Problems.
That was on Biggie's album.
Okay, yeah. But all these videos after Biggie died came out. And so like Bad Boy was huge. So he was like gatekeeping the industry. And like people said, Diddy couldn't walk out of the studio without somebody saying, like, oh, here's my record. Hey, listen to my rap and start spitting bars from him. So they said his head started blowing up, which I mean, with fame, yeah, I mean, just like money, it doesn't change who you are. It just makes you a bigger or whatever else you were gonna be. And I think fame does the same thing. And a crucial part, I think, was when he was really big. He went out to Harlem to go meet with the people, to go what they said, be with the people. And he was trying on coats and giving hugs and taking pictures. And then they went inside the car. He was like, "Man, I need some hand
Hmm.
sanitizer.
Yeah.
I need to go take a hot flaming shower, boiling water to get all this off of me." Talking about people that he was interacting with. But while he was interacting with them, he was acting like he's from Harlem, like he's a part of them.
Hmm.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very interesting how that happened. And it's interesting to me,
Yeah.
like how many other artists do the exact same thing.
Yeah. When I heard that, man, I was just like, man, that was very disheartening for me, man, when I heard that. You
Yeah.
know, somebody mentioned something about only when he got to his lowest point did he decide the only people that would still love him was people from Harlem. and
Mm.
that's when he went back. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
went back to where it started. You know what I mean? 'Cause I was wondering, like, why is this dude like riding the streets, whatever? But that's the only place he knew that people weren't going to turn their back on him, and
Mm.
it worked because we're kind of getting ahead. But when the trial happened, which I thought was brilliant, but messed up at the same time, how they were using public opinion to
Mm-hmm.
kind of influence the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had people out there with free puff shirts on and all that stuff, and
I
they
wonder
were
if
like
they
trying to
paid those
guess.
people to be there.
Yeah, but I think there was some people that actually was loyal to him that was
Oh
doing
yeah,
that too. I don't
yeah,
think it was
yeah,
all getting paid.
yeah, yeah.
But you know, like you said, this is a long show. I'm trying to find a way to kind of come to an end point here, but there were a lot of other different stories that we would go forever. We could go on forever talking about, like the story about Little Rod, that producer.
That was
That was
crazy.
sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me ask you up front. And when I mean Little Rod, for folks who's listening, Little Rod was the producer that worked with Puff for a while, making some hits, and
He did his
he
whole
was one
last
of the
album.
ones that,
He produced
huh?
his whole last album. Diddy's last
He
album.
The album was trash. But anyway, he came forward and he said that P Diddy apparently, like, man, when that girl asked him 55,000 for her custody battle, but he claimed that P Diddy drugged him and sexually assaulted him. And he said something about when he knew it happened. He said he felt weird. Talked to the manager. I forgot the manager's name, but she was like just kind of played it off. But what really struck me is when he said, "I just went back to work." You know what I mean? He said I was going to be producer of the year.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like he just ignored all the stuff he was saying, of hearing from Puff, and what may have happened to him. And he just said, you know,
Oh, you
just
went
for the
out.
money, because he
Oh,
said
there
he
you
had to
go.
support his family. He had to support his family. He needed the money. And, you know, anytime somebody makes accusations against somebody famous, you always think it's a payday, you know. But what was interesting is when they played all the different voice recordings from P. Diddy
Man.
to you know what I mean? Those are the type of recordings you don't send to another man. That's like you send it to a lover. You know what I mean?
Some
That's what
yeah.
seems strange to
Some
me.
and then some of it was just like very manipulative because like Lil
Yeah,
Rod, like if you owe somebody money, usually you duck and dodge them. He was like
right.
overly communicating, but not like,
Yeah,
hey, I got you, man. I got you. You gotta do this and gotta do that, but I got you. Man, you gotta trust me, baby. You gotta trust me. Little what do you call him? Little Leroy or something like that. Like
yeah,
Leroy or
yeah,
something like, hey man, like very manipulating type of communication. And it's like
yeah,
if he owes you money and this is P. Diddy, you're like, all right, big homie, thanks for calling me. Appreciate it. Because if somebody's ducking and dodging you and then you see him, you ready to fight them. You ready to, like, you don't
yeah,
care what they say. You're like, give my money. But it's weird, and y'all could take this for yourselves if you owe somebody money. Overly communicating and dodging and ducking around the question, but still communicating with them, you could carry on that money for a long time that you owe 'em. And if you're bigger than them, what Cliff was talking about, there was a girl in his group when he made that group that you weren't aware of, Dirty Money, with the two girls and him.
dirty money.
And he was looking for people to help defend him. And
Yeah,
and that girl was like, hey, cool, but I'm battling custody trying to get my
mm-hmm,
son or daughter. Can you loan me $5,000 so I can get a better lawyer? He's like, oh, I ain't got the money. But
right.
hey, if somebody come ask you a question, man, can you speak positive about me? It's like, bro, what the fuck? And she was even
Yeah,
like, all right, like that's Diddy. That's Diddy. And I think you
that's
reach
a shame too.
but I think
Yeah,
you reach a level where that happens. And like Little Rod said, like all he was thinking about was if I F this up, I'll never get another opportunity again. So I have to sit here and deal with everything that's happening and that's going on because if I say anything, I'm done. I'm done. And
right.
you have to keep that relationship. And it's sad, man. It's sad that you would do all that. But you remember, he said he's working with for what, 2 years or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bro, the funniest part of that, I just thought about it. You remember when they were trying to record and he said, yo, a simple verse would take like 3,
Yeah.
4 weeks, and they showed Diddy try to do that verse.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. He could do 4 words. And then the
Mhm.
funny part was he tried to help Diddy, was like, hey, do it this way. He's like, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I got it. I got it. I was
He
like,
said,
oh,
"If I ain't hot, you ain't hot."
that. But
That just reinforces that stuff that he did on Making a Band, and the parody
oh
from Dave Chappelle
man.
is true. That's
Yeah.
all true.
Yeah. That you know what? It's sad that he did that to young people. And we could talk about the making the band thing, but he pretty much helped them and then, excuse my language, but over at the same
Yeah.
time. Because
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who none, like that girl who came back on there, but she ain't never came out after that. Nobody.
Babs,
No. The girl who said the white girl,
Aubrey,
Audrey. Yeah. She never heard about
I
her
don't know who
again.
that is. I
The
don't know who
Day
that is.
26 people never heard about them ever again.
Day 26, never heard of them either.
Yeah, so it's sad, man. It's like Diddy the only one. Mace, I mean, he got the thing with Cameron, but he like disappeared. And I think I asked you that yesterday. Was like, why ain't Mace ever said anything? Because he seemed like he would have been, or maybe Mace was really distant from him. And you remember Mace left and then turned really, really religious.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you want to think why he turned religious. Maybe he
Yeah,
saw
true.
some things that he was just like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
I need to start asking for forgiveness.
Yep. And this it's almost similar to all those people. That's what, Cliff, you read my mind. That's what I was gonna say. All these people that work for Puff, his manager, even like
Yep.
Mary J, Jodeci, Maze, Black Rob, you name it. Like, there were more people that saw something, but a lot of those people never came forward. It's because they really didn't see anything, or they didn't want to be involved. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, who was it? What was they talking about? Yeah, Jerry, it was the Epstein files, right? Talking about all the famous people that was at the house. You know, hey, Puff Daddy was working with Justin Bieber. He was working with Usher. I mean, the stuff that he was talking about, man, like, there are people out there who are willing to sell their soul just to be famous and
Right.
give up their morals for it.
Right.
And that is a, and I gave it a lot of thought the other night with my wife, and to kind of remind me of it goes beyond the music industry. You know what I mean? Let's just talk at our level. Let's just talk about folks who are in certain positions. Because we're military folk. You talk about like generals, colonels, command chiefs, senior NCOs that they get put in these positions of power, and either they never had that type of power or they don't know how to handle it, and they see an opportunity and they use their power to manipulate people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they get caught, but a lot of times they get away with it. And
Yep.
a lot of times the people who benefit from their power, they don't see nothing wrong with it because they're winning. They
Right.
don't care it hurts somebody else or it harms their morals.
Right.
How many times did you have the young defender who ended up getting days off all the time just because they were in with the flight chief or whatever? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, for that one person, they didn't care because they was like, yo, I'm doing good at my job, whatever. But from the outside looking in, you're like, that's foul, man. Like, you getting favored because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Cliff says, right, like that producer, he said he woke up sore at times. Yeah, oh man, that was tough hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not selling my soul for fame and money. I would get a regular job before I do that, man. But Kenny, I appreciate that. But I'll tell you, man, I think we are Charles Davis. What's up, brother? Charles Davis says it's realistic that someone didn't see anything. I didn't know my what's that?
AU basketball
AAU
coach.
basketball coach was a whole drug distributor. Dang, bro. Look up Curtis Malone. All right. I'm not saying you guys would do it. I'm not saying I would do it, but I think we all at some point were faced with that decision, maybe on a smaller or a larger level. And if you're at a point where you're just trying to get in the door, that is a tough decision to make,
Right.
especially depending on what they're telling you to do. If somebody's saying, hey, look, if you want to be in this job or this position that you've been trying to get into that a normal person would take 30 years. For you, I can do it to you right now. It only took you 2 years. But all I need you to do is say this about Pete. It's hard,
Right.
especially if I don't know you. I'll be like, yeah, I'll say it, even though I know it's morally wrong. But anyway, that's what I gleaned from the whole series. One, the sad thing is P. Diddy's gonna get out of jail quick. And the interesting thing is, I'm curious how many people are gonna treat him like R. Kelly. Some people listen to R. Kelly, give him a pass. Some people don't. Will P. Diddy be welcomed back into the fold? Me personally, they need to take his star off the dang sidewalk.
Oh yeah.
That dude should be. I mean, look at Bill Cosby, man. What they did to Bill Cosby, man.
Yeah.
Like that dude nobody should be dealing with P. Diddy any longer. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, can these look, I'm looking in the camera. All you 90s era artists that I looked up to that I have memories with, can y'all please stop with this nonsense? Y'all messing up the 90s, bro. I mean, you got R. Kelly, you got
Yeah.
P. Diddy. Now
Yeah.
who else is left, man?
Right.
I mean, dang, I ain't gonna have that many people to listen to anymore. You got what you call them? Soul for Real came out and said they were done wrong in their contract. I mean, like,
Oh
come
yeah.
on,
Yeah.
y'all.
I think that
Can
happens
y'all
all the
stop
time.
this?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I say, as we close this out, I just want to give my opinion, hear your opinion. Does this make you think more that he is guilty of more things, or do you think the jury decision was correct?
yes to both. No, I'm sorry. Yes and no to the both. I think the jury got it wrong.
Dang.
I think they made it. I think they as in the judge made the wrong decision not to sequester them
Yeah, I think that hurt. I think that hurt.
because they were
Congregants
influenced.
for children are never provided justice they need. I mean,
I agree.
I don't know how you get justice for that. Even if
I
you
mean,
get,
he is a man with so much power and so much money. Who knows how much he spent on that team of lawyers? But apparently it worked. I mean, they said 50 months, time served. He probably gonna be out in a year, maybe.
if that, yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
And it's
But
a shame because, like, that one girl, like, for me, I won't profess to say 100% I know, but the producer, I believe something went wrong there.
oh
I
yeah,
believe that.
yeah,
I believe that. Just
yep.
by looking, I mean, unless he's a good actor. Um, Old girl, the first girl he went after, I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to remember her name, not Capricorn, because Capricorn's a little shaky. I'm not saying she's lying, but when the jurors said her integrity was in question, I can believe that because her stuff was kind of far fetched in a way. You know what I mean? Talking about, remember my wife and I had a debate last night. Remember how she said she was kidnapped?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right? Because of Kid Cudi, right? So I'm
yeah,
like, to me, kidnapped is all right. If I came over your house and said, yo, you know what I'm saying? Charles Davis acting sideways, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I didn't know what Charles did. Well, we going over there right now. You know, did she say to P. Diddy, I don't want to go? And he says, get your ass in the car.
right,
Then that's kidnapping.
right.
But he got a gun, she just got in the car with him. I mean, she's his what? Business manager,
Yeah, manager.
you know?
That's where and I think Cliff is right to the point that all these people basically enabled it because they were eating off them.
Yep.
And they were getting paid, or some were getting paid, and like, hey, I'm not messing. And this goes back to politicians. This goes to everybody. I'm not messing up my money that puts food on my table for other people. And it's sad. It's very, very
Right.
sad. And like what Cliff said, he'd rather just go get a regular job to deal with that. But other people would just be like, I am not messing up what either is going to come to me good or what is going good, no matter what happens. And to your
Yeah.
point, they don't care about all that morals and values, and all this stuff goes right out the window when money is involved. And when money is what gives you the lifestyle that you have that you probably never had, you are willing to do that. It is very, very, very sad. Very sad.
Yeah.
Yo, fellas, word on the street was Aaron Hall was wrapped up with Diddy stuff. listen to some of his lyrics to his song.
No, stop
See,
it.
I never listened to Aaron
I
Hall.
liked I Miss You, man. Can we stop with all you 90s artists, man? Who else is next? Keith Sweat?
Yeah,
Duck,
I
man.
never heard that. But yeah, so I don't think this made me think that he did it or what they accused him of. I think if they would have put domestic violence on the table, definitely would have been there. But I think without them putting domestic violence, I think what he was guilty of was because back to the Cassie situation, I think she liked or went along with some of the things that happened. Not all
I
of it.
agree.
It's sad. It's sad, and
I
especially
agree.
when you hear from the what do you call himself, a gigolo or basically a prostitute. That's what he called himself. But
I mean, man.
basically he's a prostitute. When he said all that stuff he did, he said Diddy used to watch him have. Yeah, that's creepy and crazy. But you know, like they said, Diddy is not. You cannot find somebody guilty for being an asshole, or being a bad person, or having no morals, or having no values. You cannot go to jail for that. And for everything they try to hit him up with, most of that stuff was he's just an overall piece of shit. Kind of late.
Yeah.
And you can't be guilty or you can't go to jail for being a POS.
It's difficult. A lot of stuff, a lot of the accusations between Capricorn, Aubrey, Little Rod, and the one lady in the beginning of the show. It's difficult to prove someone sexually assaulted you without a lot of evidence, especially when it's a celebrity like that. And in the end, like he wasn't guilty of that. He was guilty of like sex, for trafficking over state, sex trafficking over state, which really ain't that big a deal. And if you remember at the end of the show, his team was like, they won. They like this is a big victory. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Because they know
this
what could
dude,
happen.
yeah, it's like justice was not served, man.
Right.
That dude, when 50 Cent said he's a dangerous man, I agree with him. I agree. He's a dangerous man. And I thought it was interesting and I thought it was well done too, how they put a collage of each event he was involved in, between the basketball court incident to the shootout in the club with J Lo and Sean, to I forgot the incident after that, and then this last one. He
Right.
always found a way to get out of it every single time. And this is the one time they had a chance to nail him and they couldn't. They got him on a lesser one. And he's gonna be back on the street. And he's gonna keep doing it. He's just gonna be smarter about it. And then every single person that was on that joint, which is interesting too, every single person on that joint was employed by him, but are no longer employed by him.
Yeah. Every single
So
person.
one person could assume they just saw it because they ain't working for him no more.
Yeah. To
You know
Cliff's
what I
point,
mean?
I bet J Lo knows so much. Oh yeah.
Oh, she know.
Oh yeah.
She was
Yeah.
smart though. I give J Lo credit. She was out. She
Yeah.
was out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, you ain't messing up my career. I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. For real.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a good series though. Good series. Real good. Shout out to 50 Cent, aka Curtis Jackson, man. Like he did a really good job. I thought it was gonna be something funny, like a parody or something, but it was really, really well done. Well done. It was real good. Very enlightening.
Yeah, it was really very well done, and pretty good. But if y'all ain't seen it, there's our opinion about it. Go back and watch this, and then watch the episode, see what we missed. Hit us up in the comments on the YouTube. Let us know what it is. Don't forget the contest is starting, I guess, on Sunday now. We'll start the contest for the giveaways coming up for y'all. So be prepared for that. Come to the live show on Sunday. If you want to participate in that, we'll put out a little note to let y'all know what time we're going on. And it'll be a regular Sunday show, but before football, of course. So maybe an hour and a half before football. Let y'all know, come join. December is the time that we're going to get back. Give y'all some Christmas presents and stuff like that if y'all are listening to the show. I wasn't going to watch it, but both of y'all got me one. Yeah, you got to see it, bruh. Charles, is pretty good. It's long, 4 hours, but it's pretty good. And brings you back to a time that you probably remember some stuff. But anyway, Unpopular celebrities, y'all. Philly, you got your last words?
Y'all see y'all on Sunday, man. Great time to win some gifts. And not only that, make sure in order to be eligible, you got to be in the chat. You got to be listening live at that time. You got to make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms. There's specific things, requirements you have to meet in order to be eligible for the prize. But just don't come for the prize. Just come listen to your boys, man. As always, man. We're coming near the end of the year. We appreciate everybody who jumped on today. All the people on YouTube, all the people on Facebook, our regular folks. Nice to hear from Faith Donovan again, Charles Davis, Freddie Kincaid, Ken Cliff. We appreciate y'all, fam, and we will see y'all on Sunday. And as
Yeah, we got a
always,
new
go
subscriber,
Birds.
Rashawn Miller. Thank you for being part of the team, the UPC squad, and everybody else on the YouTube. And good football games this weekend, too. So make sure y'all watch